Stipe Miocic responds to criticism over the Jon Jones fight and rumors of him retiring after UFC 309. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Stipe said, "I believe so. There's a reason why it's happening. I believe people want to see that. I think a lot more people want to see the fight than him fight Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is tough. He hits hard, big boy. It's what people want. He knocks people out. I don't listen to anything on the outside. I used to when I was younger. When I started, I was like, why would you say that? How dare you? I was real sensitive. I literally stopped caring anymore. I don't care what anyone says. I really don't care. I think every fight I'm always preparing for my last one. I always thought about retiring after my first UFC fight. I say that all the time. Who wants to get beat up for 10 weeks, 12 weeks, come back and do it again? I love what I do and it's fun. So we'll see. But right now my task at hand is Jon. That's all I care about. That's what I'm thinking about. When I do beat him, it's going to be great. 100%. That would be a great exclamation point on the career." Belal Muhammad reacts to Shavkat Rakhmonov calling for an interim title fight since Belal pulled out of UFC 310. Belal doesn't think it's necessary.
I don't see DDP doing a short notice. I think that he has that date in his head for February, so I could see that one being it. Yeah. I could see them trying to do something with Shavkat, but he's calling for an interim title fight, and it's like, interim title fight, bro. It's 6 weeks, not a 6 months that I'm off. But even for myself, if they want to just do that for just to make it a main event, I mean, I don't really care about it if they want to make it an title fight, regardless, because they know who has the real belt. So for me, I know who my next opponent is going to be. If he wants to wait, it's going to be us. But if it ends up being him, and the only person really that makes sense right now would be Kamaru, since Buckley and Gary are out. And
right,
you said I think JDM's injured, so there's really nobody else out there. But like I said, you're in the middle. When you're in the middle of camp, it's hard because we were like 6 weeks left, and you're like locked in. So I can understand him for he's like, bro, I want to fight, but yeah, that's the only part. It's like him and Usman are training partners, and you guys been in the gym with each other right now. It's like where you guys looking at each other, watching each other. It's just weird.
Yeah,
so, I wonder who they would do. If it's not Pereira and Ankalaev, I don't see it being Duplessis. I don't see it being. I mean, Wei Lee is always up there, but like I don't see them trying to throw that one in there, Max. Yeah, it's gonna. We'll see what Hunter and Dana do, right? They're the best.
Daniel Cormier does not expect a happy ending regarding his relationship with Jon Jones and says he's just fine with that. DC said one of the greatest moments. He's beaten a lot of guys. The amount of champions that Jon Jones has beaten over the course of his career is very impressive. The guy has been a champion for a long time. He's done a great job, and it will suck whenever he's gone because the game is better when you have fighters like that in it. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of time when he hasn't been in it because of things that he has done. We aren't great, and I don't think that we ever have to. I think people need to stop longing for the perfect happy ending. Guys don't have to do what Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield did. It can be okay to just be okay with us being as we are, and I'm fine with it. So you guys should be too. Herb Dean reveals corruption in certain MMA promotions he's refereed for, where the fighters who the promotion wants to win get gloves that are more likely to knock their opponent out.
You would know if the gloves are knockout gloves or if the gloves are, there's times where I'm at fights and I'm like, first of all, why are one side wearing different gloves than the other side? Okay, this is the side that the promoter likes. But I'm like, okay, wait a minute, let's figure something out here. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, that's been happening since the beginning.
What do they do? Take foam out of it?
No, it could be like one brand is more of a knockout brand than the other brand. You know what I mean?
Kind of like a stiffer glove or something.
Yeah, stiffer glove or a smaller glove or less padding. They're all not made the same. Wow. And you get hit with them. You know which ones you want to be hit with and what ones you don't want to be hit with.
Alex Pereira went back to Brazil and visited his tribe. He posted this footage to his Instagram story. Magomed Ankalaev commented on the footage. He wrote, "I promise all my friends, I'm going to punish this guy. I will knock him out. Inshallah." Beneil Dariush is contemplating a move to welterweight. Beneil believes he will be able to fight more often. Beneil said it's been challenging, and it's just weird, I understand you'll have your ups and downs, so I had my ups for a while, and now I'm kind of down, but just not to be able to fight has been weird. I enjoy it so much. I even considered going to 170, just so that I could fight more often, but I don't think I'm done with 155 yet, so I've been trying to really focus on recovery as far as the brain injuries and stuff like that. I want to make sure that when I get back into the octagon, I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Brendan Schaub reveals he was offered to fight Bare Knuckle in Jorge Masvidal's promotion, and he declined. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Brendan said we had Jorge Masvidal and his manager Dean on, and I work for them now doing commentating, but that's how it came about. They offered me a fight. I'm like, bare knuckle MMA? They're like, yeah. I was like, you don't have enough money. There's no way. He goes, give us a number. I gave them an outlandish number, and he was like dead serious. Just looked at me in the eye and goes, okay. I'm like, what? For a second, I'm like, I'll just hit the road now and get some road work in now. Let's get going. That's an insane amount of money. I just can't force myself to do it. At 41, my kids, I can't take another blow to the head. I'm good. I don't need to be Elon Musk or Cowboy Cerrone rich. I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. They're like, for that number, you're going to have to fight Junior Dos Santos or Derek Lewis. I'm like, no, hard pass. I don't need those problems. Eddie Alvarez discusses the one fight he'd like to get back in his MMA career on Tim Welch's YouTube channel. Eddie explains why it's Conor McGregor. Check out Eddie's full appearance on Tim's channel. Links in the description.
Be the Conor fight for sure.
Yep.
Anybody who's watched my career, even some people think I threw the fight because I was just so off on that particular night. Like, it was such a bad performance of mine. So like, and I always prided myself on like being in these big moments and being that guy who would come through on that big moment. Like, until I fought Conor, man, I would be a 3-1 dog or, 4-1 dog. And these were the moments I kind of thrived for, that I wanted. And that's who I was. Like, I defined myself as that guy that came through on these crazy moments, whether I was underdog or not. And that fight on that night, I wasn't that guy. And it's, when when you're in that moment, you only get this small period of time and you train so long for the moment, and you only get defined on what you did in that 16 minutes. And you don't get to say, but it's like, no, it's a tattoo you wear on your face forever. And it's like that you only get that 15 or 25 minutes and the world defines you by it. So like, that would be one that I would like to get back. That was a tough one to swallow for sure. Crazy, right? He does this little, and I think Sean does it too. They do this little pull back and then immediately come back. It's like a small hitch back, and then they're already. It's beautiful the way they do it. But like that, what I was doing when I call it a dart, and I was very successful throughout my career with the dart. Bernard Hopkins showed me it. Where I would just kind of square my right shoulder in and then push off my back foot. And it was almost like a jab with my rear right hand. For that move against a southpaw, if I don't land, I'm completely exposed to that left hand. And since that fight, when I do the dart, I always hard jab after now to set myself balanced, because I learned the hard way in a big moment where I got caught with that there. But the move was successful, like highly successful throughout my career, so I can't be mad at it. But you're always evolving in the sport. So like, even when I dart today, I'll dart and I always bring back a hard jab to set myself balanced again, so I can continue to either move and get out of the way or be offensive again. But tough one.
Herb Dean reacts to Joe Rogan's criticism of his refereeing during Sean O'Malley versus Merab. Herb kept telling Merab to work, and Joe said he found that to be insane during the broadcast. Herb responded saying, I'm not sure if I totally understand that myself. I think the analyst who started it, and I don't want to be critiquing those guys or have an adversarial relationship because, first of all, they say a lot of good things about me, and they have over the years. I would like to talk to them, the commentators. I can tell it was the commentators before I even heard that it was because on social media, I was getting a lot of the same thing. I see a bunch of grown men saying somebody else's opinion. Must have been something the analyst said, and it was. They're saying that I shouldn't be telling guys to work. This is something I've always done. Our sport, there's rules that are for safety. There's rules that are for fairness. We have rules that are to build our sport, to make our sport what it's supposed to be, to make our sport more exciting. Most of the coaches can say my pre-fight instructions with me because I say the same thing. I tell them about things we have problems with. Most of them know the rules. But to this stuff, two things that are the most important things before I intervene. The biggest intervention is when I'm going to start your fight. So you always hear me say fight back, fight back. That lets them know that it's not a surprise to them. The next thing I'm going to say is, I'm going to say work. And that means I'm about to take your position away. Because in this sport we have position, and the position can lead to a fight being finished. But when I say work, that means what I'm looking for is not just busy work, I'm looking for an effort to finish the fight, instead of a bunch of tapping punches, where you could do a full 5-minute round with this and not change. I'm expecting you to posture, throw bigger shots. Instead of trying to hold on, I'm expecting you to spend energy advancing position, passing guard, or if you're up against the fence, putting energy into a takedown. Something that's going to bring the fight to a conclusion. If you have a superior position and you're not using it to win the fight, you're using it to hide from your opponent to burn time. That's not what we want our sport to look like, I don't think. Dustin Poirier appears to want to fight Max Holloway for the BMF belt for his final fight. Dustin responded to this post on X. It says, Dana White make Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier for the BMF title. If this is Dustin's final fight, this is the one we need. Dustin replied, last dance. Shavkat Rakhmonov had words for Ilia Topuria today. He posted this photo to his Instagram story. He wrote, I heard Topuria want to fight me, with a laughing crying emoji. Can fight him with one hand.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos.
Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from John Gotti sent me. Alex deserves a break. Dude carried this year's UFC events. Rest up, my guy. The second one says I would laugh so hard if Stipe beat Jones. And the final one's from Kyle Davis 1. Says Alex's translator. Guys, look at the pain and agony on his face. Alex, Shama no Shama.
Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.